Hey guys, I ran into an issue where I wanted to have different infills on the same object, and there are probably a handful of ways of doing it, but this way I found to be the one that works for me. So let's see if it works for you. Um, Now it's not a very uh, difficult print, but if you preview the item in question on 100% infill, it's going to take 16 hours. It's going to use 100 grams of plastic, and it really doesn't need to be 100%. So now if I go to 15% infill, now this is a filament arm to move the filament on an Ender 3. It's going to take 9 hours at 15% infill and use about half of the material, believe it or not. And it would probably be strong enough for what it needs to do. But let's say you want these to be 100% infill. You can't really, even with all of these other settings, like if I wanted to do um, a different infill using this one, change the infill density here for this item, you know, it's still all infill, 15%, no matter what. So what I found worked. I'll switch over to the window. Um, I'm going to switch over to Meshmixer. Now Meshmixer, if I import the same file, I know the render looks pretty terrible. And hit edit, plane cut, and now if I do this, it's gonna plane cut it dead center. So you turn it 90 degrees. Let me see if I can get it to lock on 90. There we go. You gotta highlight on this thing to get it to lock into these angles. Highlight it to 90, then grab the blue and scooch it over to about where you want it to be 100% infill, right? And click accept. Now I cut that little bit off. So if I export it, which I've already done it, so I'm gonna copy over it. Cut thing. And save it. And now what I can do is I'll get you back over to Cura. And now I'm going to import that cut thing into Cura. So what you're going to want to do is orient it however you do it. I do it with this guy. Make sure it's oriented properly. And then it tends to, what I've noticed is it kind of snaps itself on to the object pretty well. Now you can zoom in and make sure that it is in fact on it. And it's hard to tell. But if I move it over, maybe one snap over, that looks rock solid right there. And the beauty of that is, because it's just the infill you're dealing with, the walls don't really get affected, I've noticed. So now I go back to this setting, the mesh setting. I just close these, get to infill, and then I can hit close and then change that to 100%. And then if I slice it, what you'll see is 100% infill here, 15% infill here, and whatnot. And also, and don't forget, let's say you wanted to change it to gyroid and slice. Before you merge the items, you can change the different types of infills for each one. See if I did that right. All right, looks like I did it for everything. So let me go back to prepare. All right, it's because I've already moved it over. What I can do is, now that I'm just on that one, change that to like triangles or whatever, and then slice, and then see if it'll be different. And then preview. Well, now I'm just testing, so maybe if I get it. All right. Let's see. So that's on gyroid. That's on gyroid. If I change that, okay, so it looks like this way you can't change, they all have to be the same, which is unfortunate. Because that would have been pretty cool to be able to have one different type of infill versus the other. So we'll slice it. Preview it. And there we go. Now what you're going to want to do at this point is click, shift click. Now you get the whole thing, and then merge models. So now when you slice, it's one item and not two. That should, and then you can move it, rotate it, scale it, and everything. It's now a single file. Preview, slice. I know I'm dragging this out. You can leave at any point. Could have left 10 minutes ago. There we go. Here's another spot. You might want to do the same exact thing at this end, where this is going to bolt up. I didn't bother. There's four walls here and four walls here, pretty close together. So I'm not too worried about its durability there, but I would like that to be more solid. So there you go. Done. Now I can save it here. And send it to my Octoprint for printing. Adios.